Right, now, I want to just go back for a second, folks, and talk about Jamie Carragher and Florian Wirtz and how he's unhappy with the situation. He said, the thing with Florian Wirtz is, I don't think we're seeing a massive underperformance. I think what we've seen for a year is probably what he is, which is neat and tidy footballer, not a player who should be worth £110 million, somebody who should be 50, 60 million, somebody like that, neat and tidy, lovely touch. He went on to say, what to do with Wirtz? I've been critical of Florian Wirtz maybe last season. I've been seen as critical of Florian Wirtz maybe last season. This thing that it takes players a year to settle in the Premier League is a bit of a myth. When I see people say he's got to be a number 10, that means Szoboszlai has to be in the team in central midfield. He's not a central midfielder. I thought this would come up in 6 weeks. I think it's coming up right now. I don't see where he fits in at all. You just can't keep going with it. So, yeah. So Carragher's calling it out and has been for a while. Fans are calling it out and have been for a while. But again, somehow our esteemed journalists seem to think that, fans are obsessed with DMs on Twitter. Just obsessed with it. Not the fact that we know what we're looking at and the balance isn't there. It's just, I don't understand why they don't just say what needs to be said, which is, of course, we need a midfielder with the right profile to help Andoni Iraola out. We do. And I don't really disagree with Carragher. It's hard to sit here and say that I can see all the reasons why we signed Florian Wirtz. Yeah, I can't. I can have hope that he gets better, and I know that he is a good footballer, but, I don't know what else to say at this point. Like, it's getting awkward now to just keep trying to not go in on somebody, because I don't want to go in on a player at our club. I don't want to unless there's absolute necessity to do so, but it's getting so much more difficult to justify why we're not seeing any type of improvements from him and from Isak. Kevin John said, I agree, Wirtz is messing the balance of the team. They've tried to fit him in the team, it's not worked. That's fair. We've tried him on the left. We've tried him in the 10. I think one thing I did see, and I think I agree with, is he probably needs to be closer. He needs to be almost playing as the second striker, to be in and around Isak a bit more. But again, I don't really know whether being critical of Isak is fair, because is it the service to him? Is it his movements? Because it's not like we're seeing him missing 6, 7, 8 chances a game. He's just not getting chances now. If that's because of his own movement or because of the players around him, could be a bit of both. Bison said, if you had the choice, would you keep Gakpo and get Barcola and the Jones money and the DM and possibly a versatile fullback? Yes, I would. Now, look, I have to admit, I'm saying that. I take Barcola, keep Gakpo, but you still have to find a balance there somewhere. Because what we're looking to do now, and I'm working off the obvious stuff, the bids that have gone in, what we seem to be looking to do is get Minta in to solve the right side on a longer term. And if we kept Gakpo and brought Barcola in, I don't know who goes to the right side regularly, other than, again, keep trying to force Rio or Victor Munoz to go there. Because with Minta, it would be a more natural thing, albeit after the 8 or 9 weeks when he's back fit. So I would do it, but I can also understand the logic of the way they are doing it. You could say something differently. Like, you could say, don't sign Barcola and go get Minta, or, move bigger for a Rayan or somebody if you want somebody that is a bona fide natural right-sided player. So, yeah. Look, I hate that we have to have these debates, and I hate that we're all trying to figure out the logic of the insanity that is Liverpool's transfer business, because it doesn't make for logical thinking. Can you give us an update? Just come in. I think I've probably covered it since then, to be fair, but I will go back over everything in a second. Liverpool looking at wingers coming in and going. We sold Jones and seem to have no plans to replace him. Midfield / squad was already thin enough. So I'm not going to be a hypocrite on the Jones thing. I am more than happy to give Naoni that opportunity to take the Jones minutes. But I would be a liar if I said I wouldn't mind seeing that Jones money reinvested into another defensive midfield option, because then you just give yourself more options. Just give yourself more options in the middle of the park. Um, so yeah, I get it, but I'd be a liar if I said I expected that to happen. I never. Once Jones was sold, I thought that money would just be offset, and that Naoni would step up into those minutes gradually. Yeah, that's what I expected. But again, I don't say that you're wrong. I just never expected it of the club because kind of knew it wasn't going to happen. Coleman said, "We believe in you, mate." It's again, look. What makes me laugh about this stuff is I could just sit on it and not say anything. You know, it'd be easier for me to just keep saying, "Yeah, don't worry, it's going to get done." You know, there's only downside for me when I tell you what I told you about Barcola, because all it does is bring out the dickheads from under the rocks to have a pop at me. But I want to be honest with you because I want to have you to have the most information or as up-to-date information as I have. But I have to make sure that it's credible before I feel comfortable in saying it. Right, sorry, got more to go. Chad said, Craig, it's way too long to explain, but if you Google the tax implications for French teams selling to English, it explains it. Cool. Well, yeah, so look, if you're coming in late and you're wondering what the Barcola situation is, the information that I was given today from people that I am absolutely happy to put my reputation on the line for said everything is done and agreed. The fee is agreed, the player side is agreed, the club, everything is agreed and has been agreed for a while. And Liverpool are at a loss to figure out why they're not getting the go-ahead to push it through. What was said to me, and I read it out earlier on, was that it was a similar situation when Paris Saint-Germain sold Gianluigi Donnarumma to Manchester City, that deal was agreed 2 weeks before it was announced, and for some reason, tax implications were brought up. It was delayed till the end of the transfer window to transfer deadline day. After that, I don't know, folks, because I'm not a French tax specialist. I don't understand the logic. I understood the logic of PSG wanting to get their players in before they sold Barcola. Of course, I understood that logic. But I'm at a loss in this one. And again, I know journalists who've been told 2 or 3 times now to be ready. And then last minute, something changes from the French side. But again, I can only tell you what I know, and I can only tell you what I don't know. Worried Iriola saying we could have won, slot PTSD. Yeah, I was thinking about that last night actually when I was watching his interview. I kind of get where he's coming from. I don't think he's trying to say we could have won because we dominated the game. I think he's more talking about the chances created in the game. And I can see where he's coming from, albeit I don't think we deserve to win the game. I think a draw was probably fair on the balance of it. But if you think back, like Wirtz had a shot in the first half that forced a decent save from the keeper. So I kind of get where he's coming from. But at the same time, I also get where you're coming from. But I don't think he's at the level of delusion yet where, you know, he's saying some of the stuff that Arna said. I think he's just trying to put an upbeat spin on something that is still a work in progress.